Welcome to fantastic Cheltenham, the festival capital of the Cotswolds, a large town in the Cotswolds region of England and the most complete Regency town in the United Kingdom. It is a fantastic place to visit, and anyone coming to the Cotswolds, either on holiday or for a short break, should visit Cheltenham as an absolute must-see destination during their trip here. Cheltenham grew in the 18th and 19th centuries as a very successful spa town. It has a spring with mineral waters which were considered to have healing properties, and in 1788 King George III, Mad King George as he became known, visited the town and stayed and took the waters to try and cure his many ailments at that time. Following the King's visit, the town grew exponentially, and many of the buildings we see now date from the Regency period of 1811 to 1820, and the town was built as a resort town, so it has wide parks, wide streets, open spaces, promenades which just are fantastic to visit as a tourist or a visitor to the area. Cheltenham is also home to a number of world-famous institutions, including, but not limited to, Cheltenham Racecourse, which every March holds the world-famous Cheltenham Festival of Racing, including the Cheltenham Gold Cup, the premier jump race of the season, and a must-see for every racing fan worldwide. World-renowned Cheltenham Ladies College, often confused with, but not the same as, Cheltenham College and public school for both ladies and gentlemen. And finally, the park campus of Gloucestershire University. I mentioned that Cheltenham is considered the festival capital of the Cotswolds, and throughout the year the town hosts many internationally famous festivals which are attended by internationally famous contributors and attendees. Today we see the Cheltenham Literature Festival, but there's also the Jazz Festival, the Science Festival, the Music Festival, the Cricket Festival, which is the oldest in the world, and also the Food and Drink Festival. And of course, most famously, in Steeplechase horse racing, the Gold Cup is the main event of the Cheltenham Festival, held every March. The main focus of the Literature Festival, as with many festivals held in Cheltenham, is Montpellier Park, but you can also find festivals held down in Imperial Gardens, which once upon a time were known as the Winter Gardens. And you can see on a bright October weekend, the festival is extremely well attended, and it has something for everyone, from the children with displays and the interactive tents through to the adults with bookshops and talks by many internationally famous authors and artists. Authors attending and talking this year include Delia Smith, Hugh Fearnley-Whittingstall, Sheila Hancock and Anton Dubek. But the Literature Festival, as with all festivals, is held at many sites across Cheltenham, not just Montpellier Park, including, as we see here, the Cheltenham Ladies College Arts Centre and the Hotel de Vin. And while we're talking about hotels, you have many hotels that you can stay at in Cheltenham, including the most famous of them, the Queen's Hotel based in Montpellier, right in the centre of the town, opposite Imperial Gardens, and dating back 200 years, a place I would advise staying if you come to visit. But if you wish to find out more about the Cheltenham festivals, then I suggest you look online at the link above. The Times Literature Festival, and unsurprisingly the park it sits in, Montpellier Park, are situated in the Regency area of Montpellier in Cheltenham. And this area was established in 1801 when they discovered springs, more springs in Cheltenham, and they built this rotunda on top of the springs and created Montpellier Spa. This rotunda now houses the Ivy, but what you have as a result is a fabulous, beautiful Regency period area to the city, which is full of life and verve and excitement. It has independent shops, it has bars, it has eateries. The Grand Promenade here was designed and built in 1825 and was one of the first specifically designed shopping areas within any town in the UK. And at the centre of Montpellier we have Montpellier Park, so you can visit the festival and then explore the eateries and shops around it. Also in Montpellier we find Cheltenham Ladies College, probably the most famous girls' school in the UK, and established in 1853 as a direct spin-off from Cheltenham College, which at the time was a boys' school, although it's now co-ed. Cheltenham Ladies College is a private school for girls situated right in the heart of Cheltenham, and it takes girls from the ages of 13 to 18, and it offers both A-levels, which is the English curriculum, and also International Baccalaureate, IB, which is a much better system for those who are academically gifted and can handle the broader spectrum of subjects that are on offer. And now we see the buildings of Cheltenham College on the edge of Montpellier, about half a mile from Cheltenham Ladies College, and the origin of that school. But this school has these amazing buildings, and it was established as a boys' school in 1841 and is also the origin of the original cricket festival in the UK on these grounds. The cricket festival was established in 1858 and has been held in June or July every year since. It also has a prep school and can feed children through from nursery right until 18. Cheltenham was also the birthplace and home of the famous composer Gustav Holst, and here in Imperial Gardens, the statue you just saw was of Gustav Holst himself. These gardens were also known as the Winter Gardens because, as you see in this photo, there used to be a vast greenhouse in these gardens occupying most of the park, and they kept tropical plants in here which people could view in the winter. But unfortunately that's long since gone. The Regency area of Montpellier, which we've already seen, is to the south of the town, and it's connected to the more modern north area of the town by this amazing promenade. As you walk down from Montpellier along the promenade, not only do you see a mix of old Regency architecture and modern architecture balanced in harmony together, but you also come across, particularly at the weekends, these markets. Often there's a farmer's market here. Today it happens to be an antiques market, and it's set along these beautiful pedestrianised streets which lead you past very smart shops in beautiful Regency buildings to the modern town. The modern end of Cheltenham is also excellent for shopping, and again the architecture has been well done, but it is a perfect example of a post-war 1950s, 1960s pedestrianised shopping high street. As we turn right onto the high street from the promenade, we see a vision which is common across cities across the UK nowadays, a pedestrianised post-war high street. In this case, fortunately still fully occupied, because so many of these nowadays have been devastated not only by the advent of online shopping but also the problems with corona. But fortunately for Cheltenham, it is a major regional centre, it is a commercial hub. People come from many miles around to shop here, particularly at the weekends, and we're blessed to have all the major shops here, including Marks and Spencer, John Lewis, Fraser's, etc. But if you step off the high street, and you don't have to step off far, you're immediately back into cafe culture, which is what Cheltenham is so good at. And again, we see the culture of Cheltenham with the Everyman Theatre, which is a major theatre in the area and attracts many good plays and acts and artists. There are many, many different bars and restaurants to explore in Cheltenham. The one thing you are not going to ever be short of is somewhere to eat. And you have the independent and expensive restaurants up in Montpellier down to the high street where you have all the major chains. And if we turn left instead of right as we come off the promenade, we come to the Brewery quarter, which obviously used to be a brewery, but has been redeveloped by the council to great success with a number of high street chain restaurants, but these are very well done. And whilst I'm not a great fan personally of high street chain restaurants, they are very nice here. 15 minutes walk back to the south of Cheltenham through Montpellier, we come to the park campus of the University of Gloucester. This was originally actually a zoological gardens with a lake and elephants, but is now part of Gloucester University itself. The gardens here are fantastic, and it must be by far the best campus that the university has, but it is now a hub for both students and professionals who are interested in media and technology and design. The subjects taught here range from graphic design and advertising right through to music and film production. There are halls of residence here on site, and although perhaps in the smartest area of Cheltenham, the park itself being a very smart area, there are also many areas around the campus here which are suitable for students to live in, student accommodation, and the Bath Road in particular, which are local shops, are a hive of student activity. I'm told that the media facilities at this campus are extremely good, but ultimately students should be aware that Cheltenham is not a university town, unlike Durham, which I featured in a previous video, and is very expensive to live. Finally, 20 minutes walk to the north of the town, we come to the famous Cheltenham Racecourse. This is the home of the famous Cheltenham Festival of Racing, held every March over 4 or 5 days, and featuring the Cheltenham Gold Cup, the premier steeplechase race in the racing calendar in the UK. And as you can see, the racecourse itself, whilst quiet today, is in an amazing picturesque setting, with the hills behind, the flat racecourse laid out before us, and with easy access to fabulous Cheltenham afterwards to spend your winnings and eat your heart out. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed my little look at Cheltenham. Please look at my other videos, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you.